Hello, everyone. I hope that you are hearing me. Sarah, please just confirm me.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, hello, everyone. I'm welcoming you today on behalf of the Association of Balkan Eco Innovation. My name is Maja Budimir. And today we prepared this webinar that is dedicated to the Green Deal. But the main focus of the webinar is how Green Deal and why Green Deal is so important to both researchers and entrepreneurs. Just before my colleague is recording the webinar, just for you to know, but you are probably are aware that we informed via registration form. You're probably already informed. I will shortly just present you the agenda. We will start from the, let's say, big idea of the Green Deal and the definition, but we will, throughout the whole webinar, we will keep in mind the focus of the webinar and that the main, I would say we will go through the main domains, main actions, main activities that are of importance for anybody who is who wants to find who wants to explore the EU funding opportunities and anybody who is searching for funding. So we can start with it. And European Green Deal is actually the let's say the European Climate Pact, and it's launched on 11 December 2019. It is kind of a result of Paris Agreement, or more better to say, it's let's say it's a reaction of the European Union on Paris Agreement. So the European Green Deal is actually the great strategy of the European Commission to meet the ambitious goal and to transform the EU into a modern, resource-efficient and competitive economy, as current economic growth is totally decoupled from the resource being used. So let's say, in other words, or maybe more simple to say, is that it's a huge plan to make the EU economy sustainable. So starting with the sustainability across the Europe, Europe actually wants to promote the sustainability across the global economy. First comes first, of course, the definition of the European Green Deal. And it's actually a set of policy initiatives by the European Commission with the overarching aim of making Europe climate neutral in 2050. What is it? It's actually the big, huge idea and, let's say, top priority of the European Commission. It's all about how to make Europe climate neutral by 2050. As you can see here on this picture, this is not a single action, it's rather this set of measures. But in the center of it, we can see that carbon reduction is the center of all measures, so it's a goal above all. The Green Deal is about the sustainability, of course, but in a more broader sense, ambitions that are going beyond climate, because Europe is striving to be the first climate neutral continent in the world. So if we are talking about more detail, if we are going into more details when it comes to the European Green Deal, we can say that the first thing that is actually done was that the Green Deal is enshrined in a law of EU. So in this way, whoever is running actually the European Union, zero carbon is still the goal. So it covers actually all sectors of the economy, from biodiversity to energy, from transport to construction. It includes, of course, key policies and measures such as the Farm to Fork strategy or New Circular Economy Action Plan. We can say that the tools for, let's say, for transformation of the EU economy are actually these kind of strategies, the directives, policies, papers that are leveraged throughout this process of transformation, actually. So the European Green Deal will transform, once again, EU into modern, resource-efficient and competitive economy, but ensuring still the no net emissions of greenhouse gases by 2050. Economic growth should be decoupled from the resource use, and no person and no place left behind. If we are going into more, we are going further into the details of the Green Deal goals. So starting from the two goals that are above all, of course, to reduce the emissions by at least 55%. In the beginning, this percentage was lower, it was 40, but now these targets are higher. In comparison to the levels of the 90s, and of course, what I already mentioned is the goal is of Europe to be the first continent that is climate neutral by 2050. And this should be achieved, among others, of course, through transforming the economy and societies of Europe in general, making transport sustainable for all, leading the third industrial revolution, cleaning the energy system, renovating building for greener lifestyle, and working with nature to protect health and planet. Well, if we are coming back to our focus when it comes to the, let's say, financing or searching for funding, we can say that any spending using EU financing cannot harm the environment. So this is kind of a premise for the European Commission. We will now shortly go throughout each domain. Because you should have on your mind, of course, you can find all of this information on the internet, of course. Just keep in mind these domains, because these domains should be the objectives that should represent the address, the targets of your ideas, whether you are coming from the research sector or innovation and entrepreneur sector. So first one is transforming the economy and societies. These are the objectives within this domain, and here are the activities that are of the greatest importance. Is actually, first of all, is to reduce the emissions, of course, then to create jobs and to secure the growth. To address energy poverty, to reduce external energy dependency, and to improve our health and well-being. So these are the objectives within this domain. Second domain is making transport sustainable for all. Here we can see the percentage, and we can see the words that are coming up again. Of course, it's 55% of the reduction of emissions just coming from cars, 50% of emission reductions from vans, zero emissions from new cars from 2035. To build an infrastructure for zero or low emission vehicles, and finally to propose carbon pricing for the aviation companies. Then we are going to leading the third industrial revolution. Here we can see that 35 million buildings should be renovated by 2030. 160,000 additional green jobs should be created just within the construction sector by 2030. electrification of the European economy by usage of renewable resources, and finally avoid unfair competition from abroad by including carbon taxes for imports. Here the last thing was involved because the EU, besides it is very willing to implement this Green Deal and to become climate neutral, still doesn't want to forget and is willing to keep the level of the Europe should stay competitive on the market. That's why they want to include these carbon taxes for imports. Next domain is cleaning the energy system. So 40% of new renewable energy target for 2030, overall reduction of 36 to 39 for final and primary energy consumption. To promote the uptake of renewable fuels such as hydrogen in industry and transport, to develop a tax system for energy products that supports the green transition by giving the right incentives. Next, renovating building for greener lifestyles. So here member states should renovate at least 3% of the total floor area of all public buildings annually, set a benchmark of 49% of renewables in buildings by 2030, and require member states to increase the use of renewable energy in heating and cooling by 1.1 percentage points each year until 2030. So you may notice that all of these objectives or targets are complementing the each domain and are all aligned with the Green Deal and the main goal of the Green Deal. Finally, the last domain is working with nature to protect planet and health. Firstly, to restore Europe's forests, soils, wetlands, to increase absorption of carbon dioxide, to make our environment more resilient to climate change, and increase circular and sustainable management of natural resources. I just want to say once again why I was reading all these things, because we need all to keep in mind, if we are searching for funding, we need to keep in mind all of these domains and these targets, and to find to address and align our research or idea or product with the strategy of the Green Deal, actually, and all these domains and targets. To show you how important Green Deal is for the EU, this is on the picture you can see the money that is behind the European Green Deal. So in total, EU will mobilize around 3 trillion euros. In order to finance the transition, of course, but only half of the money is coming from the EU budget. So the rest of the budget will come from the Green Deal's plan to mobilize private and national capital that is incentivized by the Green Deal through the creation of new business opportunities. So half of money is expected to come actually from the initial implementation of the Green Deal actions. European Union actually established the Just Transition Fund. The fund will leverage public and private money, plus the money coming from the European Investment Bank as well. And all of this actually makes the Green Deal the largest environmental effort in the world. And the money will be used to make, of course, the long-term decisions on environmentally responsible projects. That's something that we should keep in mind. And what does it mean? It means actually that this will create new jobs, a cleaner environment, and better quality of life of all European citizens. Here we can see the actions, how Green Deal is going to be actually, let's say, implemented. But the most important for us is, of course, research and innovation. When we are speaking about the research and innovation action, we can mention the whole the European funding, the grants, but the most, of course, the biggest one is the Horizon Europe that is currently active. It's a research and innovation program which started in 2021. So it's worth 95.5 million euros. Over 35% of Horizon Europe spending will contribute to climate objectives. Here, it can be expected that this research and innovation program will create a new wave of green research and innovation partnerships under, of course, Horizon Europe. And 4 out of 5 mission areas in Horizon Europe are directly supporting the European Green Deal. To show you more clearly, if you had a possibility, or if you ever start to write the application for the Horizon Europe, when you actually download the template for this application, within the section 1.2 methodology, you may within the excellence part, you may find the part where is written that where relevant you're actually signing this, so you are obliged to follow the rules. That your application means that methodology that is designed in no way is not significant. It is not significantly harming any of the 6 environmental objectives of the EU taxonomy regulation. And if you go to check the EU taxonomy regulation and 6 environmental objectives, you may see that all of these objectives are actually coming from the European Green Deal. So European Union is very serious when it comes to this implementation of the Green Deal, and how Green Deal is going to be, let's say, developed throughout this research program. So knowing the Green Deal is actually a must to the European Commission funding. Sorry. Yes. First of all, let's talk about academia and the science sector. So if you're coming from universities, faculties, or research centers, institutes, you're probably all aware that research and innovation is one of the Green Deal action, and it will play a central role. It's actually expected from the universities. From this sector is expected to accelerate and navigate necessary transitions, to deploy, demonstrate, and de-risk solutions, and finally to engage citizens in social innovation. What does it mean? It means actually that there are high expectations from the academia. So because the researchers, scientists will help to turn the vision of the European Green Deal into reality, and to ensure that it will show, that actually shows that universities are recognized as critical stakeholders in the green transition. So science and research should help to drive the environmental, social, and economic changes needed to tackle this climate crisis through their innovation and research. So universities across Europe actually are reflecting on their role in the green transition currently. So we can see here this picture that is taken from the European University Association. Here you can see the steps that should be followed within this alignment process of education, research, innovation with the climate challenge, but actually climate challenge is coming from the, of course, Green Deal part. So first of all, we can see the first step is to upgrade and innovate on program, to listen to societal industry needs and collaborate more, to create new models of learning and teaching. Also, universities should be more flexible when it comes to creation of more short courses or applying the lifelong learning courses as well. Finally, to break down the disciplinary barriers, and through all this process, actually, different frameworks should be used, and all of them are actually coming from the Green Deal as well. But I think finally that we can say that in the words that what is important here for you is actually that any project that is not compatible with the European climate neutrality objectives will not be financed. That's the I would say that's the final sentence about all this. Just as an example, Horizon Europe called for this direct support to the Green Deal. That was the deadline for this call was in March, in the 10th of March. So 159 proposals were submitted, and total amount of applications actually exceeded 5 times more than available budget. So we can see that the Green Deal is already on. But all of applicants were asked to explain how their research actually is contributing to this to tackling big EU challenges, of course, such as environmental challenges or climate change effects or bio-based products, sustainable water use, sustainable food systems, etc., etc. Everything that we already mentioned, everything that is covered with the Green Deal. So in general, the funded project should help the EU deliver on its climate action goals set out under the, of course, European Green Deal. But if you are coming from the private sector of companies, if you're an entrepreneur or businessman, European Commission is actually highlighting the benefits of European Green Deal for businesses, and of course welcoming this inspiring entrepreneurs with environmentally friendly businesses. So because this is a great opportunity for businesses, for the leaders in business to engage themselves in this transformative climate and innovation actions. So keep in mind that anyway, whether you are willing to start with these measures or not, this Green Deal inspired policies will generate a wave of climate-related opportunities and risks that only companies that innovate will be able to ride. This is the citation from one of commissioners from the European Union. And the thing is that businesses will definitely go more into the green future and towards the creation of the green future. So you should be there as well. And if you are businessman or innovator, but also if you are a researcher, you should firstly, when you start the creation of your business idea, of your innovation, if you are starting to if you want to produce a product or develop a solution, you should firstly explore the interest of the European Green Deal. Then you should actually identify targeted domains that we mentioned before and search for subject. As well, you should also create the idea that is aligned with the European Green Deal. And finally, based on such, you should actually use public funding to invest not only in your business, but also in a green and more sustainable future. In the beginning, the costs of transition costs are high. European Commission is very much aware of it, but you should use the public funding also for this kind of costs, especially because you are actually gaining the competitive advantage for your business in the future. So through fostering the sustainable innovation and creating new business models, creates an opportunity for business to differentiate and capture new markets. Actually, that's it. So you keep that in mind when you're applying or you're creating your business. Additionally, the one thing that you all of us should have in mind is that after the COVID-19, because COVID-19 pandemic was after launching was happened after launching of the Green Deal. So the European Commission actually is thinking now like how this post-COVID-19 crisis affects the implementation of the Green Deal. So they decided that this recovery from COVID-19 should be a green recovery, and this is especially important for less developed countries like our country. Actually, they have in mind that severity and frequency of health-related outbreaks like COVID-19 and climate-related extreme weather events is very likely to increase in the future, of course. But this COVID-19 crisis should be an innovation opportunity for all of us. And this is how actually the Europe is looking at it. So the green recovery should be actually the bridge to a climate resilient future, let's say it like this. Europe is rethinking how to manage this risk locally, globally, how to better prepare itself, etc. But EU budgetary tools alongside the Corona recovery package can push and allow countries under fiscal pressure, or less developed countries, also from Eastern and Southern Europe, to follow the transition as well. So we can see here on the photo, this is the money behind the European Green Deal. We saw that picture already, but you can see that 750 billion euros will go to the Corona recovery, but this Corona recovery should be the green Corona recovery. So that's the main point. Coming to our region, Green Deal, why Green Deal is important for Western Balkan countries. Shortly, by signing the Sofia Declaration on the Green Agenda for the Western Balkans in October 2020, leaders actually from the region, they recognize the importance of the European Green Deal, of course, and they created the green agenda for the Western Balkan. This was not only the adoption, implementation, and enforcement of the EU acquis on environment, but this was also an obligation for accessing countries. The most important thing here is actually a reduction of the emission of air pollutants and, of course, greenhouse gases. This was a priority. We are all aware of the necessity of this kind of reductions, because daily we can hear the news about the air pollution. So I think this will be the most important part of the successful implementation of the EU air quality legislation in the Western Balkans would also help EU neighboring countries to reach their limit values for some air pollutants. This just showing the importance of working together when it comes to the environmental issues. And EU, of course, is very much aware of it. Talking about the green agenda, I'm going to detail the 5 pillars that are targeted within the green agenda. First of all, the climate action, including decarbonization, energy, and mobility. Secondly, circular economy, addressing in particular waste, recycling, sustainable production, and efficient use of resources. Thirdly, biodiversity, aiming to protect and restore the natural wealth of the region. Fourth is fighting pollution of air, water, and soil. And finally, sustainable food systems in the rural areas. Why I'm reading all of these pillars to you, because you should have in mind these environmental threats, of course, and these 5 pillars of the agenda are very important when it comes to the, if you are searching for national, regional, or even international funding opportunities that are made for the Western Balkan region, because all of them are tackling in some way or some percentage these 5 pillars. As an enabler for these 5 pillars, digitalization is coming. That is all in line with the concept of the dual green and digital transition. What is the most important here actually is you should keep in mind the regional cooperation. If you are applying for these funds and these grants, you should have in mind the regional cooperation, also creation of innovative solutions that are tackling all of these 5 pillars. Of course, interconnectedness and holistic approach of the whole region. And finally, as a goal of the application of each project should be in some way the sustainability in the region. If we are talking about the sustainable economy in the region within the green agenda, we have green agenda presents key issues identified, of course, in these 5 pillars that I mentioned, but also examines some certain cross-cutting aspects of the green transition that could be essential for achieving climate neutral region, and provides actually concrete measures that are presented within the guidelines for the implementation of the green agenda. If we are talking about the money, and the investment package is 9 billion euros in grant funding and 20 billion euros in investments. That's for the whole region, not only for Serbia. The good thing is that, of course, natural resources of the Western Balkan provide an excellent base for shifting to renewable energy sources, organic agriculture, etc. But in general, you should keep in mind all of this, because the Western Balkan, green agenda for the Western Balkans represents a valuable platform, not only for regions' economies to grow sustainably, but also for you, if you're looking and applying for this regional calls and funds. Keep in mind the 5 pillars that we mentioned before. How this looks like, just shortly to show you. So Green Deal within calls for funding. Of course, we mentioned EU Horizon Europe, but there are also other EU funding. We are mentioning Horizon Europe because it's the biggest one. But secondly, of course, we have. I want to introduce you with, if you don't know already, UNDP challenges, for example, that are currently active. You should check their website. Together, UNDP and EU in Serbia. They have a very good program with a lot of challenges that are tackling directly, actually, the Green Deal targets, such as decarbonization, air quality, deforestation, and etc. But also, if you're applying for Serbian National Funds or Serbian Innovation Fund or Serbian Science Fund, you may also find whether the Green Deal domains and targets, or the more directly the targets of the green agenda for the Western Balkan. So finally, instead of conclusion, once again, why Green Deal is important to you. So if you are a researcher, first of all, knowing the Green Deal is a must to access the European Commission funding, but I would say even broader, even other fundings as well. Try to understand the trends in your field and possibly integrate them in your research, because it will make it easier to access the funding for your research. If you're a company, and if you have company and you are applying for some funding, first of all, you should actually analyze the Green Deal and trying to understand how a market in your domain will look like in the future, actually, how it is perceived throughout the eye of the Green Deal and European Union. And then after that, tailor your investments towards sustainability. So try to actually to tailor your product, your solution within this sustainability area. And thirdly, adopt changes to develop key competitive advantages for the future. Of course, this is the good thing, because you are actually looking forward and trying to be the frontier of this wave. And finally, make best use, of course, of this European Commission funding to fund the high cost of transition towards more sustainable process, but not only for the general goal, but for you and your company as well. This is it from the part of the from the webinar. I mean, from the part of the Green Deal. Just shortly, I will tell some details about the Association of Balkan Eco Innovation, our organization. We are a non-profit organization that helps universities, researchers, research centers, of course, and companies, startups, other organizations as well, to working on sustainable solutions to access funding, knowledge, and partnership. We are the team of sustainability passionate people, of course, with long-term experience in public funded grants and tenders. So we want to use our experience to help local researchers and entrepreneurs to access funds, international partnership and ships, and to scale up the opportunities. We are also financing ourselves throughout the projects, so we are practicing what we preach. So let us, to introduce you with our projects, we have one ongoing project that is actually Horizon 2020 project. The name is Dear Rural. Dear Rural, you may check on the website of the project as well, but it's a huge project that is worth over 14 million euros with more than 20 international partners. And our role there is that we are responsible to ensure that the project impact, especially in the Balkan region, because the project is dedicated to develop a flexible digital infrastructure that will help rural regions to adopt the services, the digital services, and that's our ongoing project. So we have two more Horizon Europe projects. The first one is Emphasis, and second one we are waiting. We are currently under the grant agreement signing process. So based on our experience, we actually create our services. Our services get funded, get informed, and stay connected. You can check more on our website. Here, I just want to use this opportunity and invite you to become our members for very low, I would say, annual fee. It's 300 euros per year. It's a first-year offer. We are willing to help you throughout the process of finding opportunity, to help you to create a partnership with international partners as well as the regional partners as well. And of course, if you become our member, finally, we are coming to the end. So if you have any question that is related to the Green Deal and funding opportunities, I'm here. I just cannot see the chat window because I'm guess we have some technical problems, so Sarah, just if there is any question that is written within the chat section.
No. For now, Maya, still nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Anybody wants to ask anything related to this topic? Okay, then nothing. Then I want to thank you once again. I'm really happy that you were today, because this is very important topic, and we are here. If you want to ask something, you can feel free to contact us via our email, and of course follow us on via our social media, and check our website to see what we are doing. Thank you once again, and goodbye. Have a good day.